of my friends, the creator of Humans of Valsad. She contacted me when she was making her portfolio, right?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
No, while I started with Humans of Valsad.
So I think I was the second
Yeah,
or the first one.
not the first, but like in the first 5.
First five. So she was creating stories on different humans, and I happened to be one of the first 5 people on the segment. And it's quite interesting to read the stories of different people. And while reading those stories, you come to know that everybody is having an interesting story. We just fail to, recognize it. So today we are going to know the story of the creator herself, and we'll have some candid questions with her. So, Divya, tell us about yourself first.
Okay, actually, this is like the most difficult question always. My name is Divya. That's not what I want to put in the answer, but still. So basically, I always wanted to be a journalist, and but things didn't work out in the professional journalism field. So I started my independent journalism project, which is Humans of Valsad, as you mentioned earlier. So yeah, that's my passion. That's something I love doing, but also I'm not earning anything from it. So like to also feed myself and also for the other desires that I have, I am a digital media strategist by profession. So I help businesses promote their uniqueness through the digital platforms, and also again trying to tell every business's story in my profession as well. So that's
Sounds interesting. So that sounds like a profession that did not exist 10 years back.
yeah, definitely not.
It's like a whole new
Yeah,
domain.
yeah, because like media is constantly evolving, and currently it's digital media, and this is going to continue. It will again evolve in some other ways, which we will have to look out for. But yeah.
So how was your experience working for Humans of Valsad?
It still is, like it's still ongoing, yeah. And now I plan to like not stop for a very long time, because with the lockdown and everything happening, it's given me a chance to come back to Valsad and hopefully stay here for a longer time. So I'm not going to stop on that end. So Humans of Valsad started as something that I wanted to do just for 2-3 months while I was looking out for jobs in other cities. But then I wanted to continue I wanted to continue and not stop. It was actually a project in my 3rd year of college that one of our teachers asked all of us, like all the students in the class, 16 of us. So he used to travel by train, by local. He used to travel from Andheri to Grant Road, and Grant Road to college he used to walk, because it was just walking distance pe. So while walking from the station to the college, he had 16 places picked out, including a fruit seller, a newspaper vendor, a flower seller, all of these small stalls everywhere. He was on a lookout for these people, and he made these chits, and in the class he distributed these chits, and I got a newspaper vendor right outside the college. So this was our project, editing project, to ask them how's their day going, what's their life like, and everything, and to take the format that you see on Humans of Valsad, just similar project in the project form. So I got the newspaper vendor, and he had such a great story to tell, like not great as in something iconic, but the simplest of things that all of us knew but could never think that it was his misery. What he told me basically, that जब से आपका phone और सब आया है तो मेरा newspaper कोई खरीद नहीं रहा है. And that was his misery of the day. So I started with कि भैया एक Times of India देना ये वो, because I was actually thinking कि how do I start this conversation. So I was like भैया Times of India देना ये वो, and then I was like आप कितने बजे आते हो सुबह को, this. And what I saw was the eagerness to have a conversation. Like I gave him my money because I did not have change. I gave him 50 or 100 bucks ka note, and like he took so much time to give me the change because he liked talking to me.
Right.
So that is what I applied in Humans of Valsad also. Every person I talk to, like mostly I do it randomly on the streets, and also some known people, like Palace say I schedule the interview, but mostly I like it to be random with random people, because they have this urge of, you know, having a conversation more than selling their product or whatever. Maybe, I don't know if they are lonely or XYZ reasons, but they have this urge of having a conversation, and they love it when the stranger is asking them a simple question of how are you. So that is, and then that look in their eyes, ki, Arey, wow, she's coming and talking to us. I love that look, and that is what is keeping me going.
Lovely, that's fantastic. Quite interesting. So, I'll be asking you questions on the good side and the bad side of social media.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
So, can you tell us, like in short, what exactly is social media marketing?
So social media marketing essentially is marketing your product, your business, your service, or even your own self on social media. We see a lot of creators these days. They promote themselves. So influencers, they promote themselves because the more the followers they get, brands will come to them, and they will earn that way. Brands want to promote their products, so they go through the influencer. So it's like a cycle, and everybody is a part, is a small dot, and when you connect the dots, it's like the entire social media marketing, which includes various elements in it.
Lovely. That's really well explained. So, how is it helpful to people?
Oh, especially like it's the most needed marketing strategy, especially in today's day and age, because of corona. People can't do the traditional ways of marketing and sales, where, you know, they used to go out and meet people and physically go to every doorstep ke ma'am aapko ye product chahiye, ye chahiye, nahi chahiye. Now the same thing is happening on your phone. You get recommendations that do you want this product, you don't want this product. So that's a shift from the traditional to the digital, directly on your phone, on your fingertips, and no extra mehnat of, you know, people going out. And
it's cheaper also.
yeah, it's cheaper also.
Definitely. And you're able to reach more people.
Yeah.
So, I recently saw one documentary called The Social Dilemma
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
And what I found is, what I learned from it, which I actually knew from inside,
Yeah.
was that our brains are being, you know,
Functioned that
they
way.
are being manipulated.
Yeah.
They're exploited by social media, and the way we act, not at a small scale but at a bigger scale as a country, we are all acting towards what they are telling us to do. So can you
Yeah.
tell me how it is harmful?
So all of this is, you know, the capitalist culture coming in and taking over your life, over the decisions that you make. So one of the very famous dialogues, or some of the very statements that this documentary has made is, if you're not a if
If you're not paying,
yeah, if you're not paying for something, then you
You are the
yourself
product.
are the product. What they mean is that you see an advertisement which could come to you by an influencer, it could come to you paid ads, say, or organic influencer reach or whatever, and then you change your mind, or you make a decision to buy that product.
Based on the
Okay,
ad.
yeah. So that person is actually, you know, taking control of your mindset, of your behavior, and the final decision that you chose to buy that particular product. So social media now is so what that documentary talks about is, social media is catering more to the advertisers, the corporates who are paying them for advertisements, and in a way they are, you know, selling our behavior change, our decision making power to the advertisement. But although I agree with the manipulation, but I think at the end of the day it's your decision to make. It's you who's choosing what type of content do I want to watch. If let's say someone's a vegan, they choose to have a vegan posts or vegan accounts they want to follow, and that's what they get on their news feed. If somebody is fond of something else, that is what will come on their news feed. So at the end of the day, manipulation, everything is there, but it comes down to your choice of either going for it or not going
But
for
don't
it.
you think that is leading to polarization and everyone is like opinionated completely?
Yeah, but then you also have like this happening on both the sides. Like
Right.
you have people on this extreme end and also on this extreme end. So like this is happening for both sides. So like if there's a political party X that you support and a political party Y that I support, I will get positives of Y and you will get positives of X on your phone, because that is your behavior that they've noted previously.
Correct.
So it's what you want to look out for, or if let's say one day you decide to choose to look for positives of Y party, and that is what will you will get. So it's up to you what you want to see.
So, do you think that the millennials today need to have a social media presence? And according to which is the best platform to be there on? As in I'm talking professionally.
So I think social media presence, again, it depends on you if you use it to your benefit or if you use it to your misery, because I have changed my usage over the years. Earlier, let's say when I was in high school, I used to look at pictures of, my seniors or somebody, and I used to like, it took a toll on my mental health that, like this is promoting a culture that I cannot fit in.
Right.
Now I'm using social media to read what's happening around me.
Right.
Also consumption of news, which has helped me a lot.
In a productive
Like
way.
even if I'm not reading a newspaper, I follow such accounts that tell me what's happening in the country and what's happening in the world and what I should be aware about or not aware about. So social media presence, of course, like also to be in the like 5 friends meeting, 4 of them will talk about something that's going on there. You have to be a part of the conversation or give an opinion of yourself. So the 5th person, if he has zero clue about what the other 4 people are talking, so he will definitely be left out. If he or she is okay with it, no problem. But if he has this feeling of isolation, I'm not liking this, etc., then he can be a part of that by choosing to go on to social media and looking out for what other people are
Doing.
yeah.
What is your opinion about those people who have zero presence? Like they are like, oh, I don't use social media. What
If they are okay with it, it's okay. Also, like there are a lot of people who are not on social media, but they pass their opinions about certain things which they have
Correct.
zero
Knowledge
about. That is something that अगर आपके पास research नहीं है, it's not well researched, you don't have knowledge about something, you better like shut up about it and don't like give your views or opinions. Like my father is only there on Facebook, and he only shares Jai Mata Di posts or any God ka posts and everything, and he's not there on social media to become a social activist or even follow these events that are happening around, and he's happy with it.
Right.
So that is okay. Like nobody is going to question you on that. But if somebody is passing an opinion which they have zero clue about, I think that's not
right.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
right.
Are you glad that the government shut down TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok, including other Chinese applications, I think that was a great step in. It was a much needed step, because I read about this. Like usually, like somebody can say that. Like if people know my political opinion about a particular party, they will be like, "Arey ye to aisa, so she will not support this, blah blah blah." But I completely support banning these Chinese applications. Also, in my family, we have made this decision. We are consciously now looking out for made in India products, and or if that's not possible, then at least not made or manufactured in China,
Correct.
because that's a very dirty game that the country is playing, and which is known as dumping of products, dumping of other things, which they just import from poor South Asian countries, and they just export in the Western countries, which means they're buying at much cheaper rate from South Asian countries, South Asian countries, selling it off to rich countries, making a lot of money, but not, it's not fair trade, basically. To put it out in
the place where it should.
Put it out in simple words, it's not fair trade what they are practicing. I completely support banning of Chinese applications, including TikTok. Now, if you ask me, what about the creators of TikTok, their Rosie Roti or everything? If you're a creator, if you have the talent, your talent can be shown on other platforms as well. And Instagram has made a very opportunistic move by introducing Reels. So the same strategy that you applied with TikTok, you can apply it with Reels on Instagram, which is going to work very well for you if you're a creator of that level, that caliber.
Correct. Do you think that social media has a hand in the political and religious propaganda?
Of course, definitely.
Do you think that all these political parties, religious groups are, they are pumping out their own agenda?
Definitely, because social media is a very small part of it. The entire media is a very big gambit or an umbrella, which social media is a small part of. There are so many movies made on both the sides to support both the arguments. There are so many documentaries to prove both the arguments. And I've seen people paying off other people to, like, comment, or, share this with your family, share the same thing with your family, ask them to do this. And I'm not just blaming one political party. These are some of the dirty practices a lot of people have been doing since long. Like earlier, the practices were, agar aap vote dene ke liye line mein khade ho, some ex-political party person will come, hand over 1,000 rupee note to every poor person, especially the poor person who jiska next meal is not, sure, or they will hand out 1,000 rupee note when 1,000 rupee notes were valid. They would hand them the 1,000 rupee note, each person in the line. You spend 10,000, you get 10 votes in your pocket. The more money you spend, the more votes you get in your pocket. And that now they've shifted to the digital medium, going on to social media, and same practices.
What is happening to our parents who take WhatsApp University very seriously?
Oh, yeah. So, a very funny example. So, my mother saw this video that a COVID positive patient was running around a store, and policemen trying to capture the person, and policemen and the medical staff trying to get this person to a hospital so that he doesn't, spread the disease. So this came in our building WhatsApp group, okay, and my mom came running to my room and my brother's room. There's this person in Valsad doing this, ye wo. No information given of if the person is in Valsad or any other place. She came running to both of our rooms. This person is now out, don't know where all he or she, the person was a man, he touched or he did this, that, etc., etc. And she said, this is opposite this hotel. I won't name the hotel or anything. The opposite this hotel. So she got the location also. I saw the video, and piche, the banner of the shop, 3 shops, was in Kannada language.
Okay.
So I was like, which shop in Valsad has this banner of Kannada language? Can you please tell me? And then the person who had sent the video deleted the video after 10 minutes.
Okay.
And for those 10 minutes, she was panicking. She created a panic in the house. Valsad mein koi aise ghoom raha hai khulla, COVID positive patient.
Okay.
So I think that's a very clear example of how you should not believe something which is there on WhatsApp without the source being verified.
Correct.
And that goes on for every other medium, not just WhatsApp University. Even if you watch it on Facebook, Instagram, please verify your source. Please see the credibility of the source of information. And then make your decision, then make up your mind on XYZ topic.
So it's not just affecting the young people, it's affecting
It's
everyone.
Actually, I think youngsters are more aware about this problem of the fake news, and they are educating their parents on this, and this is going on more in adults than
Correct,
in
correct.
young people.
Those have just started getting
Yeah.
comfortable with WhatsApp. Correct. Okay. Can you suggest us some tips on how to use these tools in a healthy and productive manner?
Tools as in the social media
Social
platforms.
media, yeah. Like, what is the sole purpose that we can use it for in a healthy way?
So I think if you want to promote your business, if you want to promote your own self, a service that you're providing, etc., firstly find out your USP. Don't just start off with social media के नहीं सब लोग ने account बनाया. I also want to make an account. I've seen so many of my friends, they made their accounts with 0 posts. And then they're telling me ke follow, please share ये वो. अरे put some content and then I will follow ना. Even if I follow, चलो you are my friend. I want to help you, I will follow. Why will others follow if they don't have anything to see there? Nice or not nice is a secondary question. कुछ रखो तो सही पहले. Like put out some content and then ask for followers or something or viewers.
Right.
So I think firstly you need to curate your USP, decide your USP, what is so unique about you that I will come to you. And I'm sure definitely every person has something or the other that's unique to that person and nobody else has it. Find that first, create content on that, create more and more content on that, and also you have to watch more content or read more content in order to create it. It doesn't come from anywhere. It's coming from things that are inspiring you, and once you watch or read something, only then will you get inspired, only then you can make content for your own channel as well. So decide on all of that, get inspired by your surroundings and make content and be consistent. So for example, you have 4 videos to post. You post 3 in 1 week, then you forget about the channel, then you post the 4th one after 10 days. That is not how it will work. If you have 4, you know you're not getting more in a long time. Schedule it week wise, be consistent. If you have a frequency of posting every week, continue that. You cannot break it and then come back and break it and then come back. That is not how you will get followers if your aim is to get more followers and more reach. One more thing, that Instagram has now altered its algorithm, because there are a lot of creators coming in and they want to pick the best, choose the most creative and etc. So there's this concept of shadow banning. So if you are putting out hashtags which are too common, let's say, if you are not putting out anything creative, you're just copy pasting something, Instagram has people appointed to see if someone's doing that, and they will then shadow ban you, which means your followers can see it but new followers won't be able to reach you. And if you are sharing your content with people, that is not considered as engagement. Other people have to share your content with others, then it will be engagement. What is considered more nowadays is the saves, the number of saves you have on your post and the number of shares you have on your post. Likes are the lowest in this level of engagement. So no matter,
They don't mean anything.
they do. Likes mean something, but very least.
Very least, right?
At the least, the more important things are the shares you get on your post, the saves you get, and then the comments, and then is the number of likes you have on your post. So if your aim is that, be consistent with your content. And no Instagram account has got 0 to million followers in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or even 6 months, or even a year, unless and until you are a Kareena Kapoor or some very famous personality. So you have to not lose hope and be consistent with your content for at least 6 months. Only then results will show, either in the number of sales of your product or number of followers or whatever your end goal is.
So when we see all these advertisements where people are claiming that just boost your Instagram and grow your channel and get a lot of subscribers and all that, so basically what about those people? Are those techniques really effective?
You mean paid advertisement on Instagram?
Where they say, I'll give you a secret and I'll give you this.
No,
book
no,
and
no,
all that.
no. Oh, you're talking about people who
Yeah.
contact other people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so my only suggestion is please don't go through any such person who's like guaranteeing you likes
Right.
or
Correct.
followers or whatever.
People are selling
Yeah,
likes and
I know.
followers.
1,000 rupees mein 1,000 followers or
Correct.
something like that.
Correct.
That's completely fake. You will get it for, let's say, at max a month. After that month gets over, people will unfollow you. These people
Correct.
will unfollow you as soon as they get their money, etc. Also, as we spoke about shadow banning, Instagram also sees that if in just, let's say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes you've got 1,000 followers achanak se, which is not expected, they will think that this is a bot activity. There
Right.
are bots who, they are not actual people. Bots are machines or technology evolving. They will have these likes on your posts or followers on it, and Instagram shadow bans these bots as well. They don't want bot activity there on the platform anymore, so they will shadow ban your account if you get instantly 5 minutes mein, if you get 1,000 likes or 1,500 likes, which is not possible if yours is a small account or if you're just
Organic.
getting into it. So if you want to go for paid advertisement, you will always get in your business account of Instagram, you will always get a boost post option. It's directly you are paying to Instagram.
That's it.
That's valid, and that is a good way to increase your reach. But my suggestion would be, if you're just starting off, do that after 2 or 3 months, so that if somebody lands on your page with that advertisement, they have enough content to read and take something off from your
So
page.
they have a reason to follow you.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so talking about the other aspect, there are a lot of people who post a lot on the Instagram. Is it a cry for help? People, normal users, you see them posting a lot every day. There are like 10 and 15 posts on their social media. So is it a cry for help, or it is just like that?
As in, like, are you talking about influencers? Are you
No,
talking
no,
about
normal users. I'm talking about the regular users. So there are regular users who post a lot of posts all the time, random, relevant or irrelevant. So is it psychologically? Is it a cry for help?
Actually, that depends from person to person. It's subjective. It's very subjective. Some people do it for validation. Some people do it because it maybe boosts their confidence, and if in a way it's helping them, it's good for them. If it's not, if it's like working in the negative way, like they are not getting the number of likes or followers that they expected, and they're like doing it simply for validation, then I think it's somewhere or the other they have to stop, because today they might be getting validation. There will come a point where they stop posting their pictures, they will not, and that might affect them in a bad way.
Right.
So whatever you think helps you is good, you can go forward with it, but what you think is going to be an kind of an addiction for you, you should immediately stop.
It. Right. So do you think we have unrealistic expectations of our body and of our lifestyle because of the IG models?
Yeah, definitely. I know. Yeah, I have cried multiple times looking at pictures, like I don't have this body, I don't have that body, my skin is not flawless, etc. And everything, like people might have flawless skin, but most of it that you see on Instagram is also artificial. There's a lot of makeup and other cosmetic surgeries done on people. Like I remember this obsession with the Kardashians, and if you like, not even a single person has like an organic body.
Right.
Yeah, so like these there are a lot of I don't know what, there are a lot of, it's actually concerning, like again, as I said earlier, all of this used to concern me, but then I looked at social media as a way to help me know more about things, generate awareness within me about a lot of issues, and that's how now I'm using it. So and now thankfully there are a lot of models who are breaking the shackles. There are a lot of body positivity posts and brands going on to this body positivity concept, be it ultimately their goal is that they want their sales to increase, but in a way they are promoting a positive thing, which is good. So Yeah, so it's evolving again. Like earlier, we only used to have models, Instagram models, who were a particular way, particular figure, height,
right.
color, etc. Now, if you see, you have fat, thin, skinny, dark, any color models, which is I think it's a good thing, and that's coming with more and more evolution.
Correct. Okay, so now that was a very serious and intense discussion. So we are moving to a lighter part,
Okay.
where we are going to have a rapid fire round. I
I'm
want the
scared.
questions to be quick, rapid, not steamy like Karan says it, but definitely witty.
Mm-hmm.
So, name your 3 favorite YouTubers or Instagrammers or TikTokers if you are into that.
No, I'm not. Okay, so one will be Dhruv Rathi. He's a YouTuber. Second will be Sakshi Sindwani. She's a model, but she's a plus size model. Motivated me a lot. And third would be Lily Singh.
Lily Singh. So you're not into Carrie Minati? If you're into
Definitely
Dhruv Rathi.
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here decide it's again Carrie Minati.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So name one website you can't live without.
One website or a social media?
Website.
One website. I think I can live without.
Any website.
Yeah.
One social media app you can't live without.
WhatsApp
Okay.
and Twitter.
So you tweet also.
Yeah, like I recently started being active myself. Like previously I was just a person who used to check Twitter and all of that, stalk people on Twitter and their views and opinions. Now I've actively started tweeting also.
Okay. Now you have to be faster. Okay. What does your Tinder bio say about you?
Nothing.
Okay. What's the worst, most terrible or ridiculous thing that you've seen on the internet recently?
Shit, there are so many actually. There are so many. But again, people promoting illogical ideologies is something that I see and I get disgusted with.
What's the last post you liked?
I think Mansi's vegan accounts some post. I don't remember.
Last picture or story that you uploaded?
I don't remember all of this. Now it's creating a lot of pressure on me.
Okay. Last food snap that you shared on your IG?
Yeah, it was like jawar pizza that I learned making in lockdown.
What comes to your mind when I say Snapchat?
I think that expression said for itself.
WhatsApp stories?
Oh no.
Private DMs?
Okay, sometimes helpful, sometimes stupid.
Video calls?
Yeah, I started liking them after the lockdown.
Notifications?
If it's on Humans of Valsad, I love it.
Okay. What's your current ringtone?
Or MI tone.
Okay. What's the funniest social media encounter that you've had?
Funniest social media encounter would I think be on TikTok. Some ridiculous post would be so lame but so funny at the same time.
And the last one. The weirdest message you've received from a creepo on any social media?
A lot actually. I don't know. I was so bad in this rapid fire. I was not. That's not so rapid at all. Not even
Alright.
fire.
All right. So that was quite informative. I loved the areas where you covered all the things about promotion, marketing, and how I like the whole thing that everyone is dependent on each other. Like the companies are
Yeah.
dependent on the influencers.
Yeah.
They are dependent on their followers, and the followers again. So we are dependent on our habits.
Yeah.
So it was very insightful, and thank you for being a part of our show.
I loved it. But I think, can you do a rapid fire with me again some other episode?
So thank you for watching this video.
Oh, are we still shooting?
We are, right? Okay, so thank you for watching this video. We'll be back with you again with another interesting episode of the Millennial Guru, in conversation with the Millennial Guru. This is your host Utkarsh with Divya Tejwani. Thank
Please
you so
follow
much
Humans of Valsad.
Yes. So do follow Humans of Valsad. Thank you for staying with us and watching this video. Have a nice day.